Hey guys, just wanted to let you know that I'm an idiot, and I forgot to start the video recording for this podcast until about 7 or 8 minutes in. So, for the first 7 or 8 minutes, there won't be any video, the audio's still there, and it'll come there eventually, so not that big of a deal. Also, we were interrupted several times during the recording. I was able to edit around it for the most part, but there might be a few, slightly weird jumps. Sorry about all of that. This is a Garbage Truck on Fire production, and I can be dumb sometimes, but for the most part, it's pretty good. So, hope you enjoy the show. Thanks. Also, we're starting with a random story that Jeff was telling me before the podcast, and that's why there's an abrupt start that you're about to hear right now.
In front of me, so we didn't have to hold them. And so she found the pig underwear our jackets were. So what happened was a pig was thrown. It got caught in the jacket that was hanging over the rail.
Wow.
Made it all the way back to the hotel room from the venue.
Just hanging onto the jacket?
Yeah, I'm guessing it fell in the hood.
Yeah.
That was hung over, and then when my mom picked up, it fell out. It stayed all the way there, so my mom got a pick too.
Nice.
I'm pretty sure that's the most I've got to pick, anything at the show. I also got a flag.
Hello, and welcome to episode 73, I think, of the Nerds at Large Gaming Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Darby Hallman.
I'm Jeff Mayo.
And Jeffrey, boy, do we have a big week this week.
We do.
There was multiple times, I thought earlier this week, I was like, okay, Detective Pikachu is clearly going to be the headline of this podcast. And I was like, oh wait, no, it's going to be the Game Awards. And then now we've probably got to what it actually is. PlayStation's not going to E3. Why did all of this stuff have to happen in 1 week? It's not fair for people making a podcast.
Yeah.
Be more considerate.
Darby, what you need to title it is some weird variation of Sony cancels E3 while Detective Pikachu goes to the Game Awards. Something crazy like that. Not necessarily that, but
I think that's lying, Jeff. Detective Pikachu. I don't think Detective Pikachu is making an appearance at the Game Awards, Jeff.
Huh?
I don't think it's happening. I mean, do you see any avenue for Detective Pikachu to make an appearance at the Keighley's? I don't think there is. Unless Ryan Reynolds runs out there in a Pikachu costume, then I'm all
Sorry, I need you to use your crazy Photoshop skills.
Yeah,
I need you to, for the thumbnail, to be Detective Pikachu holding the Game Awards trophy with a Sony t-shirt on.
Okay.
Then you can title whatever you want.
Okay. It's going to be really disappointing when it's just a Sony logo in the thumbnail.
I'm very disappointed.
I'm a busy man.
Disappointed.
We'll see. I'll try. Yeah. I will try. My Photoshop skills don't go that far. But yeah, I
didn't say it needs to look good.
We have a lot of things to talk about, so it's a really good thing that we're wasting all this time talking about Pikachu wearing Sony shirts. No, I'm in for it. This podcast is what it is. But we will get into all that. First, right off the bat, you need to check out our Pokemon Nuzlocke that has made its glorious return, and we're getting a bunch of new boys and friends before we take on the next gym. It's a lot of fun. And you can check out our reactions from the Xbox XO18 event that happened last week. And I have at the end of that video, you'll see our discussion, and if you just want to see our discussion, there's a separated video for just that. Look for Terry Crews on our YouTube channel, because that's the thumbnail, because I just had to.
Of course.
I had to. Well, before we get into this jam-packed news, I don't really know if you have anything, but Jeff, do you have anything you've played?
Nah, I meant to play Tetris Effect, but I never got around to it.
That's what I was hoping. I was hoping for some Tetris Effect.
I'm sorry.
Disappointing.
Just to play some more Red Dead.
That is good. I am in chapter 6 of Red Dead. I'm probably not going to... We're getting around the point where I'm going to stop talking about it on the podcast and probably just wait for our Spoilercast. Yeah. But... Jeff, I really need to talk about this game with someone, so I want you to get through there. Okay. The tidbit I will give is that we reached a new milestone in Red Dead. It made me cry last night.
Nice.
That is the new milestone that we hit with the game.
Nice.
And that's probably about as far as I'll go. Just chapters 5 and 6, things get really strong. So.
Darby, the way things are looking, it could just be me and you for the Spoilercast where we get to it.
Yeah.
Just because
as soon as you get done, I want to just do it. I want to just go ahead and do it. We can have a secondary thing later if other people get through. But, yes. Yeah. All right. Well, if we don't have that, I guess we can just move right along to the news. News jingle, Jeff.
Jingle, jingle, jangle.
Yeah, and it's jam-packed news.
We probably have the least amount of news stories we've ever had, but
they got some meat on that bone.
Yeah. I mean, this first one, on any other podcast, most podcasts would have been the main topic. But
yes.
We're leading with it.
It's not fair.
Yep. Okay, this comes from Imran?
I think it's Imran.
Yeah, I think
because I know that he's been on a podcast we listen to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Imran Khan from Game Informer. The history of the Electronic Entertainment Expo is as long as it is circuitous. I pronounced that wrong, but whatever. The annual event has traditionally brought the entire gaming industry together as developers and publishers fight for attention both on and off the show floor through announcement, trailers, and pomp and circumstance.
All that pomp and circumstance.
Indeed. Yeah. The displays of grandeur have ebbed and flowed over the course of E3's soon-to-be 25-year history, with different companies occasionally reconsidering the extent of their involvement in the show. Now, one of its bigger players, Sony, has decided PlayStation will not be attending E3 in 2019. Actually,
gasp.
Put my water on.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry. Okay. Here's a quote. As the industry evolves, Sony Interactive Entertainment continues to look for inventive opportunities to engage the community, the company told Game Informer in a statement. PlayStation fans mean the world to us, and we always want to innovate, think differently, and experiment with new ways to delight gamers. As a result, we have decided not to participate in E3 in 2019. We're exploring new and familiar ways to engage our community in 2019 and can't wait to share our plans with you, end quote. When asked if Sony would push its event offsite, similar to how Electronic Arts provide a show adjacent to E3, PlayStation Senior Vice President of Communications, Jennifer Clark, elaborated further, saying, "We will not activate or hold a press conference around E3." Sony's withdrawal from E3 likely comes as a disappointment to fans that look forward to the company's stage show as a centerpiece for the expo as a whole. From huge announcements like Spider-Man and Horizon Zero Dawn to its onstage demos like The Last of Us, Sony has always brought a certain flair to the show. The press conference battle between Microsoft and Sony, especially once Nintendo changed their video format, is often talked of E3. And here's the additional information I added that came out kind of after this stuff. Mm-hmm. The ESA, which I forgot to put their full thing. People who kind of run E3.
Right.
The company. Sent out a press release that listed companies that have already committed to being at E3 2019 in some form. These companies are Microsoft, Nintendo, Activision, Bethesda, Capcom, Epic, Square Enix, Konami, Take-Two, Ubisoft, and Warner Brothers. And for you listeners that are trying to pay attention to see who's not on that list, major publishers not listed are EA, Sega, and of course Sony.
Right.
Probably some other ones that might be there, but those are all the major ones. And just because EA and Sega aren't on there at the time doesn't mean they're not going to be.
Right.
Just they haven't committed.
Okay, so Jeff, bomb. This is just an absolute bomb dropped on the video game industry.
Yep.
That at first when I saw it, I was like, "Wait, is this fake?" Yeah, it's kind of crazy, and I think there's a lot of things to unpack here.
Yep.
There's a lot of conflicted emotions and conflicted theories and thoughts that I've had that I'm not, I don't think we're gonna be able to know until we get into next year.
Yeah.
But it is it's kind of wild to have Sony just, E3 came, they showed us a lot of the games we've seen before. I think it was fine though, because we had not seen The Last of Us and Death Stranding and these enough.
We've already seen Death Stranding enough.
Yeah, we've seen Death Stranding enough. But cancel PSX and then now not appearing at E3. It's easy to knee-jerk reaction, and it's kind of my knee-jerk reaction, is to feel like maybe Sony is spread too thin with their announcement-wise. Because when you think about all the Sony studios,
yeah,
it's hard to come up with a big one that's not accounted for. Mm-hmm. That either it's working on a game that we've seen a bunch of times, or just released one and it's too early to talk about the next one. Mm-hmm. And obviously that hasn't stopped Microsoft from having insane conferences, but more and more, because just the third-party announcements, more and more it's feeling like that's where the third parties are going to announce their games, and less Sony. And so I don't know, this is either Sony being we have this grander plan and we're bigger than E3 at this point. We can go do our own event or do something else and we're fine without E3, which I think they are for at least I don't think they're going to explode because they don't have E3.
Yeah.
It's either that or they would just spread too thin and they don't have enough announcements for a big show this year.
where is your mind going?
Obviously, the reaction you see is what, and then when I think about, the more I think about it, I'm like, honestly, this kind of makes sense. Like, I'll get into my reasons why is the fact of you said spread too then all of the studios are accounted for. But let me try to pull this up. Someone on Resetter made a list of games that they have coming up. I think it's just a case of, like you said, everyone's made something, and we either have come out or we know they're coming.
Yeah,
and especially after the reaction to this E3, where a lot of people are like, we've seen all this stuff, blah blah blah. I didn't really show that much. I don't think they have anything to show to PS5, which is fine, because this is the list of games we have right now that's announced for PS4. Death Stranding, Ghost of Tsushima, Medieval, Last of Us Part 2, Dreams, Days Gone, MLB 2019, Concrete Genie, Everybody Golf VR, and Blood and Truth, which are VR games. But just using those first games, they got enough to...
I mean, that's a lineup. I mean, it's not that they don't have, like, amazing games coming down the pipeline.
But it's just kind of this is where I look at it is... Okay, I think the PS5 is going to come out in 2020 for sure. Definitely not next year. 2020 probably in the fall.
Yeah.
There are rumors that it could come out early 2020, but part of me kind of just really doubts that.
Yeah.
I'm thinking it's going to be the fall.
I agree with that too.
And with that lineup, especially, if you think about Sony's first party releases this year, which were stronger than you would potentially normally say. So I don't think it's going to be as... We may not get as much next year, but I don't think it needs so. Like we're getting Days Gone. We're probably going to get at least one of The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, and Death Stranding.
I would agree, yeah.
And a couple of the little things, I think that's fine with that. And I don't think they need to have an E3 just to show us those games again.
Yeah.
And as far as third parties go, they didn't show as many this time. No. And it's not like, yes, they'll be showed at Microsoft and everything, but they're still going to be on there.
No, and it's kind of been the problem for the last two E3s is that I've left being like, wow, that Microsoft conference was amazing. Xbox killed it this year, and I still have not given Xbox a cent because I don't have one. And like most of the games I look at in their conference that I'm excited for, I play on PlayStation in a few months or whenever it comes out. And so, I mean, like, that's kind of an issue. So, like, it might be one of those things where it might be perfectly okay that they're not there. It's just going to be a little weird to have E3, which is just at least E3 right now, and I feel like it's going to have a similar vibe even this year, even if it starts to decline. I really think it's going to be strange to have, this is the week where all eyes are on the video game industry, the biggest week of the year for video games, and Sony is not there.
Yeah. I mean,
it's going to be weird.
The weirdest part for me is not necessarily the fact they're not having a conference, it's the fact that they're just not going to be there at all. They're not even having it on the show floor.
Not even have, like, playable...
demos.
Like, I was going to say Dreams. Like, I hope Dreams is out. But
did I say Dreams in my thing? Add Dreams to the list.
Yeah, add Dreams to the list. I don't remember if you did. But either way, that is surprising. And that makes me think, so do you see Sony having their own event? Like, do you see them, like, bringing back PSX and it just being, like, balls to the wall, like a gigantic thing? Or do you see them, like, legitimately sitting back for a year because they don't have the things?
And honestly, it depends when they're planning on announcing it. If they're planning on announcing the PS5 in 2019, there'll probably be a PSX and they'll show it there, or announce it ahead of time and then have a big blowout at PSX, or they do what they do with the PS4 and just have its own event at some point during the latter half of 2019 or early part of 2020 and just show it off there.
Yeah, it
just really depends when
the PS5 reveal feels a lot more likely to me now after this. After, like, no presence at E3, just thinking, not necessarily, they don't necessarily have to have some big thing in 2019, but it feels like, if they're not going to be at E3, the only thing that could rival an E3 press conference would be some event where they reveal the PS5.
Yeah,
and it kind of also depends on what the PS5 is for reaction to this, because it could easily, like, 2019 PR wise, and for whatever that means, they have 86 million PlayStations out there. They're fine. Yeah. But I think 2019 from, like, gamer fan perspective could be a rough year for Sony, just because, it would be easy to see the, like, vision of Xbox is out here, like, I mean, I'm sure the next part of this conversation is going to be, was this mean for Xbox? But to see Xbox go out there and E3 and kill it, see Nintendo go out there and do that, Game Pass keeps like growing or whatever. If Xbox announces their next platform and everything, this could be another step of the snowball to Xbox like building steam while Sony's losing it, maybe. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's hard, and it's gonna be like, this E3 is gonna be strange.
Yeah,
because you're gonna get to the point, like, if it's great, you're gonna have we didn't need Sony anyway. Look, E3 was fine without them. If it's not, they'll be like,
people were like, oh man, if only Sony's here, Sony's E3, blah blah. I'm like,
there's
no,
gonna
that's
be
an overreaction.
There's gonna be overreactions. I feel like
they're gonna either way, there'll be overreactions from some side. But yeah, I think. Again, I don't think this is necessarily as bad as people may think it is, though I feel like people have calmed down after kind of processing this time, at least in the kind of circles when... Yeah,
it was a shock.
It was a shock, but the more you kind of sit down and think about it, it's like, yeah, do I really need a conference to show off all these games we've already seen before? The most thing we'll do is get, oh, yay, more gameplay, which, honestly... We don't need to see too much more of.
I mean, I've been saying this for most of these games, especially like The Last of Us. And, like, I don't want to see anything
and
more.
And they don't need to do a conference to show us release dates, which would be the main news we want to hear from these games.
And historically, with a lot of these, they haven't even been doing those at conferences.
Exactly.
Like, for God of War, it was just like one day. It was like, hey, here's the release date. And
I can't remember what they
for Days Gone, maybe, or I don't
they announced it at Days Gone.
Yeah.
They announced, but then it got delayed. I can't remember what they did for Spider-Man as far as the release date.
I'm pretty sure that was just some random day too, but I might be wrong. Either way, yeah.
Again, those games and stuff, they'll be fine as far as games go next year. And again, we don't need to see those games again. No. If they have nothing to show for PS5, then really, what's the point? The main thing we'll get is, a couple more third-party announcements that happen to be announced at Sony, but we're getting those. We'll get those either way.
Yeah, I mean, I respect no conference more than a forced thing when there's not much to show. I mean, you can argue the third party side of it, but again, I just feel like more and more Microsoft is the one that's putting in all the money to get those announcements and putting in the
again. The main thing this tells me, as far as like where Sony's mindset is the PS5 is not ready / they don't want to release it next year. Because if it was coming out in 2019, they'd be there.
I never thought it was
coming out. No.
Yeah.
I think for the people that were on who were saying 2019, next year's the year, this confirms it. Also,
I do think this makes it very likely that we hear about it next year, though.
Oh yeah. It's either like, I'm not throwing out. We may not hear it at all next year, but
why not?
Obviously, early 2020 at the latest.
For hearing about it, yeah.
I mean, or if I don't know. They could do it any way. I mean, they could do a thing like Nintendo did, do their own little thing in by this time next year, and then release it like in March.
When you look at, sorry, I'm just gonna pull up the quote. I mean, again, PR speak or whatever, but like, we always want to innovate, think differently, and experiment with new ways to delight gamers. As a result, we're not going to E3. Mm-hmm. What exactly does that mean? Does that mean we're doing something different? Like, I mean, you see all these companies do various different things. Nintendo hasn't done a conference in years. They do the directs and stuff, and they'll do a lot of like direct social media like channeling to people. Maybe it's something like that, or maybe they hold their own event outside of E3. Like, this could mean that. But let's get into the other big part of this conversation.
I do want to do one more thing. I wanted to throw in here. I think also this tells Sony anything as well is they need to do better with announcing games like closer to release. Because this is the side effect the problem we've kept on talking about. They announce games way too early. Like, you look at these aren't necessarily their games, but you look at the legendary 2015 conference where they announced The Last Guardian, which came out like a year later. So that wasn't, and Final Fantasy VII Remake and Shenmue 3, like, everyone's like, that's the best conference ever.
Yeah. I mean, like,
we got a date for Shenmue 3, but a lot of people are like, will they even keep that?
They don't believe it.
And that's about a year away still.
7 isn't even the focus of Nomura's team right now. It's Kingdom Hearts 3.
They're having still people looking at it.
I mean, they're obviously working on it, but like, it's not even the main focus right now.
And then a lot of their games, we got like at least 2 or 3 E3s for.
But that also,
this would be Death Stranding's 4th.
Like, to take this to like the broader spectrum, this is also a little bit a problem just with our industry and E3 as a concept, because like we're getting to the point where a yearly trade show for pieces of entertainment that take 5 years to make is kind of doesn't work with each other. Because like if they didn't announce those games, what would they have shown those years? They didn't have other things. Like that was, they showed those because that was all they had, because like you only have so many companies, and all these companies are working on games that cost millions and millions and millions and millions of dollars and take longer than any other games have before in history. It's just one of those, like, I love E3 to death because it's so much fun, but like I don't know if it makes a whole lot of sense sometimes for at least one developer or one like a publisher to have a conference that's primarily their own.
It's kind of why I think Microsoft's, and I guess we can. That's a good transition to talking about this new Microsoft. Why Microsoft thing was so interesting this past year is, yes, like you said, it doesn't help you buy an Xbox, though. With XO, you're more likely to at least buy their services when it gets the PC, and stuff. But
and with the studio.
Studio
acquisitions and stuff.
But why it makes Microsoft's presentations more interesting and maybe more fresh than the parents and Sony, because they have so many third-party titles, and a lot of those titles don't do I mean, of course, there are exceptions, of course, but a lot of them are announced and then they're already out by the next E3. Yeah. Like, this is their E3 that happened. Microsoft has problems with some of their own titles, but...
And, I mean, it's kind of the trade-off. Like, I think Xbox's shows have been better than Sony's in a lot of ways. I mean, there's been some amazing Sony ones, but like by and large, I feel like Microsoft's been doing a lot better shows at E3. But at the same time, Sony's the one they're showing games that are their games, and you're buying them on their platform. Microsoft can't say that. Microsoft is an awesome thing to watch as a gamer, but like I think they're building towards that. But it's interesting, and I do feel like this obviously would not happen if Sony wasn't 86 million to Xbox's whatever it is. You know, there's so far in the lead, but it's also a weird time for this to happen as we're getting to the end of this console generation, and we need to get into. I think this means that Xbox has to this is a chance for Xbox. Like if I'm like Phil Spencer, if I'm the people in Xbox, like I'm shifting things around right now. I'm like, we need.
Yeah, I like. I'm sure you saw it. Yeah. Phil Spencer and Xbox were like, "Hey guys, we're gonna be at E3. It's gonna be great."
E3. I mean, if you talk about like for a moment for this to happen, just everything, and it might not turn out this way because like these are like giant companies, and Sony is just so set with their exclusives and everything. Like we've talked about this before. Like at the very least, I'm going to own the PS5. The question is, will I own the Xbox? Whatever. Yeah. But like with the studios, with like Naughty Dog and Sucker Punch and all these other ones, I'm gonna own a PlayStation.
Well, also, not even just the Sony first parties. It's just a thing for us. A lot of the Japanese developers we like. Are a good chunk of them are only on PlayStation consoles. So,
but that being said, Xbox has been building up, and now, like after all of this build up, Sony's not there for E3. This is Xbox's time. They have to shine. I don't know what that means exactly, but they have to bring it.
It is the kind of thing like it's 6 months away, and like you said, they're probably looking at how maybe they can shift around their plans to make the E3 conference more appealing. It's kind of weird that the thought of, hey, Sony's not there, so let's make this better. But
I think you have to. Though. Like you need to prove that it's like, hey, no, you're going to leave E3 with the same level of excitement. It's all going to be about our conference and everything.
But it's also it makes you think, will they show Scarlet? The thing is, all rumors are pointing to Scarlet also coming out in 2020, I think.
Yeah, I think there's a chance just because you want the headlines. You want, have the headlines mostly to yourself aside from Nintendo stuff, but they're kind of in different days and everything. But
yeah, let's put this out there. This does not change Nintendo's outlook whatsoever. No, Nintendo is Nintendo.
All these conversations immediately go to Xbox because they're the direct competitor. Nintendo is a side competitor in a way. Yeah.
I mean, Nintendo was one. People would complain, but I mean, it's a little bigger. Nintendo's thing, this is another Direct. We get a couple of those a year.
It's similar.
They have a couple bigger announcements kind of just thrown in there, but yeah. So, yeah, moving back to Microsoft.
Do you other like random question? Do you think they moved to PlayStation spot? Do you think they moved to that prime time nighttime spot now instead of doing their conference in the morning?
Wait, in the morning? Well, I guess they kind of.
Or they do it during the day or something?
Yeah, they did it kind of earliest afternoon on Sunday. Yeah.
This is not the most big question. This is.
I could see it. I mean, or it could be that. I imagine. I don't even know how the schedule things exactly work completely.
Yeah.
I'm sure if it's up to the people in charge of E3 and these people, like, they might be like, hey, Microsoft, can you just move the Monday so, like, everything's more compact?
Yeah.
I mean, it just kind of makes sense for someone to, like, maybe even Bethesda moving to Monday, maybe the night, may not necessarily the night thing, or they move... but then there's early day and Ubisoft moves up tonight or something.
Yeah.
Someone moving around. It just kind of makes sense just so everything's not as spread out.
It could be. It's just like, you always think of, obviously no shade to Nintendo, but there's kind of like, they're later, they're a different day, but it always feels like for that weekend of conferences into Monday, Sony's always like the crescendo. It's like, it all leads to...
Yeah, I think it makes sense for Microsoft to potentially, move the Sony spot, and be that crescendo. Especially since now, if that, let's say hypothetically, it is to happen and none of the other conferences' times really change dramatically, then you could have a whole bunch of like at EA's and Ubisoft, and now Ubisoft and Bethesda's, you can now say at their comments, here, we're announcing this, and see more at
Xbox,
Xbox conference.
Yeah, and this also just opens the door to like, Sony obviously has had third-party stuff. They like last year's show was a little different because it was way more focused on their 4 games, but they've had that before, and now it's just like it's all open to Xbox. So Xbox kind of has their pick of the litter of what they actually.
They can get they get all the third-party announcements they really want. Yeah. I mean, we've always said the whole thing. So, what Capcom games can be announced at Sony's conference and to be released in January? We're not getting that.
Nope.
That proves out one of our betting things. Yes. That would have been like a sure thing.
Yeah, betting's gonna be a little less fun.
Yeah,
but we should probably move on. But this is a giant conversation that I think we're gonna be talking about a lot more. Obviously, as the year goes on, this is definitely one of the biggest just stories for.
Yeah. My fear is that Xbox gets ahead of themselves and they pull a Sony and just announce some games too early to try to have the big announcements.
Feel like they need to have something big.
Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Like they announced the Scarlet, like let's say they were planning on showing out the Scarlet, but now they're like, hey, this could be our big moment. Let's do it.
Yeah.
and now this give Microsoft a better idea of what Sony's plan is for the PS5.
Yeah.
So we will see.
Okay, Jeff.
Okay.
Let's move on. Next story.
There's a movie called Detective Pikachu.
That there is, Jeffrey.
We finally got the first trailer. First trailer for anything officially like Pokemon live action.
Yep.
Darby looks good.
we have to dive in. We have to dive into this. Just the fact that like I really wish I could go back to you as a little kid and be like, this is the first time you're ever gonna see a live action Pokemon thing, and it's that. When this trailer dropped, like I of course just saw people freaking out online. I'm like, okay, I have to watch this because like this is gonna be terrible, but I have to watch this.
And we were gonna talk about it, so.
Oh yeah, I knew we were gonna talk about it too. When I watched it, I just immediately, because I had only seen just a few little people just freaking out. I didn't know positive or negative. I just saw they was freaking out.
Like, oh my god.
Yeah, and I watched the trailer and I was like, wow, people are gonna hate this. I'm like, oh boy, like Pokemon fans are gonna be mad. And I go on the internet and it's anything but.
It's universally positive.
Everyone is like ecstatic for it. So Jeff,
Pokemon fans, non-Pokemon fans,
why is this so great?
I think there are a bunch of reasons why. Obviously the whole thing of, hey, we're seeing kind of quote unquote live action Pokemon for the first time, which is exciting in its own. And yes, some of them do look weird, but live action Pokemon are going to look weird no matter what.
Yeah.
So that's some, and I think, some look good, some look better than others, some look scarier than others. I give props to them for picking Mr. Mime as a showcase.
Just like I just assumed we must just be avoiding Mr. Mime. I just assumed if we're making a movie that we're just gonna avoid him.
They're gonna avoid Jinx.
Yeah, they are absolutely gonna
Jinx
avoid
can.
Jinx.
Yeah, Jinx cannot be in this movie.
There might be some Deadpool joke about Jinx in Deadpool 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
I've seen people like, I really love that Ryan Reynolds took this role just so he can make a joke about it in Deadpool 3.
Yep. So it's either, it's a win-win for him. It's either it's good and he gets, a win, or it's bad and he just get jokes for the Deadpool.
Probably get jokes either way.
Yeah.
My biggest thing when I was watching this was like, to me, the Pokemon look fake. Like, and not faking just to like you said, they're gonna look weird. To me, like, they look like stuffed animals. Like the Pikachu, like, it's a really good stuffed animal, but like it does not, like, I do not look at any of those monsters and be like, yep, that's a real creature in this world. They all feel fake to me.
No, I feel ya. With Pikachu, I think a couple of the Pokemon, they tried to overdo the whole, hey, these are real animals, just by putting too much fur on it, and that kind of did a little the opposite. Like, no, I hear you.
I would almost like feel like it would, for me personally, I would be better with like not great CGI than this. Like, I feel like it's gonna take me out of the movie the entire time I'm watching it, because like I'm looking in Pikachu's eyes and I'm like, those just look like plastic eyes. Like, and I don't want to be too much of a downer. It was just like, I was watching this. Obviously, I'm not a Pokemon guy. It was funny. I was happy to see that it was like, they're letting Ryan Reynolds be Ryan Reynolds.
Oh, yeah. And yeah, there's some good jokes in there. And it gets me excited because, like, with the whole Mr. Mime thing with, him just being a mime, it's like, okay, we might have some pretty cool Pokemon gags in here.
Yeah.
That, are cool for Pokemon fans to see, and then easy enough for people that aren't necessarily into Pokemon as much that will be able to get.
And didn't people spot a lot of like references to like all the different games?
Yes,
like, in the background
that's also that makes me so happy. It's like the people who are making this actually seem to care about Pokemon. Right. It's a big thing, and
very big.
Naturally the reaction when we found out, the first live action Pokemon movie is going to be Detective Pikachu, weird. But then you see this trailer and you're like, this was probably the right call. Because if you just did a normal Pokemon thing where it's just a kid going on a journey being the very best, it probably wouldn't have been a great movie. Like, no. I mean, it just,
at best, it just would have been a kid's movie, just a pure kid's movie that is like,
But during this movie, the way they're setting up, it's like, this is a Pokemon movie, but it's not necessarily the Pokemon aren't necessarily the focus. It's more, hey, this is the movie that's set in the Pokemon world. This has all this Pokemon stuff in it, and there's a movie here, and Pokemon's just a theme, or setting around it.
Yeah, I mean, like, this whole Detective Pikachu aspect of it, and just him finding him, like, I feel like I've seen this movie before, not necessarily in a bad way. I'm just saying, like, it does kind of seem like this is a movie first, and then it's like, oh, and it's also in the Pokemon universe. Yes. Like, they focused on making an actual story.
Yes, which is good.
It's good, yeah. It is definitely good. I don't know. I'm very interested to see it.
We're going, Darby.
But also, like you were saying, this, as the first Pokemon movie, I feel like it has a hook. It has a hook that like people are gonna share this trailer because like it's a Pokemon movie. Like, put all those preconceived notions out of the way. Just watch the trailer. You know, there was a lot of those going on. Where people are like, I don't want to see that. It's a Pokemon movie. It's like, no, just watch it. Like, because this has like, if it was just a normal Pokemon movie, no one would like. There would be a lot of people who are interested now who wouldn't.
Yeah, and you could potentially set up like a Pokemon cinematic universe and kind of maybe ease into or have another movie that's more set in the normal Pokemon journey, somewhat.
Yeah, it's weird. I don't know where they go from here. Like, I'm interested to see where this all
I feel like I don't even think I thought about like how like good this would do box office wise, but as we're seeing, just kind of seeing actually like this could do pretty damn well, especially if it ends up being a solid movie.
Yeah, I wonder how this is being responded to by like the average moviegoer or whatever, the average movie watcher, because like everything I've seen has been like Pokemon fans and gamers on the internet and stuff.
No, I hear
because it is weird. It's like, even if you grew up playing Pokemon, you're a casual fan or whatever, you click on this, it's like, I don't know, it's strange. It's very strange.
I feel like, and I have no basis for what I'm about to say, I feel like the average moviegoer is more likely to be okay with the realistic looking Pokemon. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, more so than maybe you, who...
Yeah, I mean, and I definitely can be overly critical sometimes about the way that, like, it's usually with CGI stuff. Yeah. This is obviously, it's not like all practical stuff, but like it looks more practical, kind of in a bad way to me. Usually I'm all for the practical effects, but these just look too far to me. They just look fake. I know I don't want to talk about it too much because like people are very stoked for this movie. I'm very happy for everyone else. And I'm going to watch it. It's going to be like
we're going to do a spoiler class, and let's hope it's positive.
It's going to be crazy fun. If I'm negative on it, just put me off of the Spoilercast, put someone else on.
I mean, we'll see.
I'll be on it, but we'll try to like rope Alex on or something.
I mean, honestly, part of me feels like, I feel like no matter how this goes, I'll be more positive than you. Just as a Pokemon
if it wasn't
fan.
for y'all, I probably wouldn't see this movie.
Yeah, but I feel like if you're really negative on it, odds are I'll at least be kind of like, that just wasn't a good movie.
Probably.
But look at these Pokemon things, and that might make it worth it for me.
Yeah,
because there is love put in it, and I want to see more of these live. And
that is a good sign. This doesn't look like just they like someone who doesn't know anything about Pokemon making a Pokemon movie.
Like that. The way that Monster Hunter movie looks.
Oh god.
Yeah. But Darby, I just wanted to say this. Again, this is no way a definite. This could be like the first like legitimately good like video game movie.
Very low bar.
I know, but the chance of it just based off the trailer.
Jeff, do you know how quickly we are spiraling towards a 2-hour podcast?
Yeah, we cut out like 10 minutes for that stuff. We're fine.
All right, let's move on.
We got through the big thing at the beginning. Next thing. This is popped into our lap earlier, a couple hours ago. This comes from David Griffin from IGN. IGN can confirm that an animated series adaptation of Capcom's popular video game franchise, Devil May Cry, is in the works. Not Zelda like everyone thought. This series will be developed by Castlevania executive producer Adi Shankar. I think I pronounced that right. Shankar, in an exclusive interview with IGN's Jackie Jing, also revealed that this Devil May Cry series will join Castlevania in what we're now calling the bootleg multiverse.
The bootleg multiverse.
While Shankar didn't give us any specifics in terms of what this all means for the series' overall story, he did inform us that that he acquired these Devil May Cry rights himself, so the jabronis in Hollywood don't F this one up too. I appreciate that. Shankar's financial investment should allow him more creative freedom as he begins to build this wildly ambitious multiverse of his. Shankar attributes the Devil May Cry series announcement to the success Castlevania, which he says really overperformed. It did crazy well. We immediately got greenlit for season 3. Thanking the fans who made it all possible. Shankar said, I wouldn't have a job if it wasn't for the fans.
Super interesting. I was expecting Zelda too. But
this is honestly, like I mentioned to you before this, part of me doesn't even know if I want a Zelda series because I feel like that'd be weird. But Devil May Cry just makes so much sense.
Especially for like an anime adaptation. Like if
it was live action. No.
If any like game series, could like fit an anime because like I was telling you before this, like not only is it okay for a not only would Devil May Cry fit in a like kind of over the top and very cheesy anime aesthetic. Yeah. If you didn't do that, you'd be doing Devil May Cry wrong.
Yes.
Like it has to kind of be way out there. And I think Eddie Shankar can do that, and he's proved that some of the Castlevania series. Although, I mean, granted, this is just, I've watched season 1, which is like 4 episodes or something, and 1 episode of season 2. And yes, there is some crazy stuff going on, but Devil May Cry kind of seems like a stretch for me for like the same universe. I'm very interested to see how exactly that works, but we'll see. I mean, like I could see this becoming a Marvel TV show thing or whatever, where it's like
we get like 2 more of them.
Well, on their own they were good, and then they tried to combine, and it got really bad, and then like they just like spiraled into like, okay, no one's watching this anymore. I could see that becoming a thing, but. So far, Castlevania is beautiful. Like, the animation is beautiful. And
I feel like, I definitely get, your concerns as far as that goes. But I feel like this being anime and, just kind of be over the top and cheesy might help this better.
It helps a lot more. I'm so glad it's not like a live action thing.
Oh,
like,
no. Live action any of this would not turn out well.
No.
Yeah.
But, I mean, Devil May Cry, I don't want to, this is a very ignorant thing to say because it's obviously not easy. But, like, compared to a lot of other like gaming franchises or whatever, I mean, Devil May Cry, like you get that soundtrack right, and you get like the
right voice actor,
and you get the flashy visuals, and like you could do this. You could definitely do.
Actually, I had a thought. I know Castlevania's voice acting, but it's not nearly as much necessarily as it is. You think they'll go for like Dante's regular voice actor?
Maybe. Yeah. It's hard to. Yeah, I could see it. I mean, they probably probably have the money to do
So
that.
I feel like to the Devil May Cry fans, I mean, I'm not one of them, but I just feel like Dante's voice kind of iconic in a way, like to Devil May Cry fans, and since it's voice acting, it
could work. Yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that. I think that would be good. That would be a really
get more voice actors from the series.
Yeah, and I'm wondering, is this going to be like a retreading things, or is this going to kind of be a different story in it?
We'll find out.
Be interesting to see.
We will let you people know.
And whenever I get around to actually watching the rest of Castlevania,
I need to do that soon. Okay, moving on. This comes from Darby Hallman from Twinfinite. Xbox Game Pass members will now have the ability to preload upcoming titles ahead of their release, according to a tweet from corporate vice president of Xbox, Mike Ybarra?
Ybarra, I think.
Yeah. Crackdown 3 is the first title to feature preloading, and it's available to download right now. I think I heard Mutant Year Zero is also here.
Yes.
Preloading is a feature that many enjoy with their digital purchases. When you preload a game, you are able to play it immediately at launch without waiting for the full game to download. While Crackdown 3 doesn't release until February, Ybarra confirmed that the feature will also be available for games that release sooner. When asked if Mutant Year Zero, a game that releases on Xbox Game Pass on December 4th, would be available to preload, Ybarra responded with a simple, "Yeah, it will work." In addition to announcing preloading, Ybarra also hinted at the possibility of on Xbox Game Pass making its way to PC.
Cool.
Yeah.
Simple, cool thing, but cool.
Yep, I guess we'll say this. By this time we do the podcast next week, I should have Game Pass.
Hey!
Because Black Friday is next week, so.
Finally give some hot Game Pass impressions.
Yep, and I'll probably just go ahead and download Mutant Year Zero.
Yeah.
We're
like literally 2 weeks away or something from it, right?
Yeah,
not long at all.
Yep. Yeah, we're 3 weeks away from the Game Awards / Smash. So, yeah, it's like a couple days before that, so yeah. About 2.5 weeks, so.
All right.
I'll probably try to download that. I'll wait till Crackdown till later, depending on my space.
Yeah. I'm excited for that PC announcement.
Yes, that will be a huge thing. If I guess kind of prediction, if it's not already announced, then I imagine that'll be a E3 thing because that is a megaton.
Yeah, I hope we don't have to wait that long for it. But
that is a megaton.
Yeah. Oh yeah. That's a big deal.
Okay. The next story, not as a big one, but follow up to what we have been saying for the last couple of weeks. It comes from Adam Bankhurst from IGN. Players Unknown Battlegrounds has officially been announced for PS4 and will be released on December 7th, 2018. So not at the Game Awards like we all predicted.
No.
Announced on the PlayStation blog, PUBG will include all major features like custom matches, ranked system, event mode, trophies, and will launch with 3 maps, Erangel, Miramar, and Shanhok, with the highly anticipated snow theme map arriving this winter. Those who pre-order PUBG will receive a Nathan Drake desert outfit from the Uncharted series and Ellie's backpack from The Last of Us to use in-game, as well as a PUBG avatar and theme for your PS4.
Very cool. Something we kind of figured was coming for a very, very, very long time. But it's officially happening.
Yep, I'm just glad all this stuff came out before we did our betting thing.
Yes. But remember, whenever these rumors about PUBG going to PlayStation first popped out, that was when PUBG was the biggest thing in the world. Yeah. It was like, when is it going to come to PlayStation? And now it finally is, and probably not even many people are talking about it, but sad. But you know what? That's one more spot for a Game Awards announcement.
Yeah,
so it's one less announcement that gets filled by freaking, I don't know.
Yeah. We'll find out.
Crash Bandicoot for Smash.
Yeah.
Don't know why it would be announced there, but
why the hell not, Darby? It's the real question. Okay, next one's an interesting one. Something people have been wondering about. This comes from James Batchelor from GameIndustry.biz. The later financial results for THQ Nordic show a dramatic increase in net sales, with earnings rising across the business. For the 3 months ended in September 30th, the publisher reported net sales of $139.5 million, a staggering year-on-year increase of 1,403% over the $9.3 million reported for the same period in 2017. That's a pretty big growth, Darby.
That's a pretty big growth.
The reason for this growth is THQ's acquisition of Koch Media and Deep Silver earlier this year, effectively doubling the publisher's potential revenues. Titles by this segment saw sales of $27.6 million, with the release of Dakar 18 and Pathfinder Kingmaker cited as key performers, even though the latter launched less than a week before the end of the quarter. Even without Deep Silver, THQ Nordic's own titles would have driven net sales up 47% year-on-year to $13.6 million. The launch of Titan Quest and Red Faction Guerrilla Remastered, both re-releases of hits from the previous incarnation of THQ, were highlighted as particular success, as well as This Is the Police 2. Over the quarter, THQ Nordic published 5 of its own titles and 9 from other studios, with the partner publisher business enjoying a strong quarter thanks to big releases from partners such as Codemasters, Square Enix, and Sega. The firm also announced alongside its financials that it has acquired Ghost Simulator developer Coffee Stain and Wreckfest studio Bugbear Entertainment. It acquired Handy Games earlier in the quarter. Just keeps on buying all this stuff.
So much.
The 3-month period also saw THQ Nordic add even more IP to its portfolio with the acquisitions of Alone in the Dark, Kingdoms of Amalur, and Time Splitters, the latter through Koch Media.
Jeff, it's working for these crazy bastards.
Yeah, that's the main reason I put this standing is like, because the whole question people have been asking with THQ Nordic stuff, like, is this working for them? Like,
This is great.
Yeah, they got to know something. So what I'm getting at is THQ Nordic's going to replace Sony's press conference.
It would be amazing.
I actually want Devolver Digital to replace it.
Both.
No.
Combined press conference. Like
they're both talking at the side of the stage at the same time.
The most ambitious crossover.
Move over, Smash.
No, but this is great because I mean, like, obviously THQ Nordic has just been, if you've missed it, THQ Nordic has just been buying like a lot of video game franchises that are like AA stuff that, or just like franchises that are loved by like a niche, but they're not the biggest things, and they're bringing them back, like Time Splitters, Kingdoms of Amalur, all these. And it's just like every week it's like THQ Nordic is buying 5 more things. And it's like they're basically trying to build up the legacy of like the old THQ. And it's like, this is great from a consumer perspective. It almost seems like just a THQ fan got a bunch of money and just doesn't know what to do with it.
Apparently the owner's a billionaire, so
it has to be. It has to be. But
I think I saw that somewhere.
Is this financially viable? And I thought surely not. And I guess we haven't seen in the long run what it ends up being. Some of this might just be because of sheer output. Yeah. You're like getting this much in. Like they might be using more money than they're making buying right now. But regardless, you kind of can't argue with 1,403%. It's insane. Yeah. It's insane. So I'm happy to see at least the first sign of like maybe this will work.
Yeah. Yeah. We're getting a lot more game announcements for them. We'll keep on saying this game is being published by THQ or developed by THQ Nordic. Now, the one I'm very interested in still is Biomutant.
Yes.
Biomutant is one of those things I'm like, this could be a surprise hit or it could crash and burn.
Yeah. For some reason, that feels like one of the like more notable ones to me, probably just because it's new and it's interesting. You know, it's not one of these like redone things. But I agree with you. I kind of can't get a read on that game completely. Like
it could be, especially with the way things are now with the internet. If that game is like really fun and good based on everything, it could just be a really big hit.
And it might be like a lot of these THQ Nordic things seem to be, where like they don't make such a big hit that we notice them, but just slowly. I mean, it's like, you know, I think none of these probably cost that much money, and like I think THQ Nordic probably has realistic sales goals for all of them. Yeah, and you just have enough of them.
Now, all I know is from hearing people talk, they need to do something with Time Splitters. Yeah, that's what the people want.
But hey, they made like it's a possibility now. Like it's like probably gonna happen. Whereas before THQ Nordic did this, Time Splitters was dead in the water. Same with all these things, like. THQ Nordic, if you have any like old franchise that didn't get enough love and has been dead for 10 years, good chance THQ Nordic might come around and fulfill your dreams.
Yeah. Good for them.
Yeah.
Okay, Darby, we have very last minute news. I had to pencil this stuff in right before we started.
Literally penciled in. He might have had a pen.
We have some... Yeah, where's my pen? Oh, yeah, put it over there.
Yeah.
Don't need it for now, but for after this. Okay. We got some Jump Force news last minute. Jump Force. Apparently there's more to this stuff, but this is just what we got. We got a couple character announcements. We got Piccolo and Cell from the Dragon Ball series.
I know them.
You know them, Darby. And these characters make sense. Just people who don't know, like Darby. And J-Stars, the only Dragon Ball characters where the data were already announced. Goku, Vegeta, and Frieza. Mm-hmm. So these are new to these series. So these weren't sure things. We kept on talking like... People kept warning, okay, we know they're probably going to have more Dragon Ball characters considering that, you know, most of these series are getting, you know, more than they did during the last one. Yeah. It's like, who will they add? Because Dragon Ball's kind of weird. Just they have so many characters they could add, and a lot of them make sense for different reasons.
Possibilities are endless.
Yeah, Piccolo makes sense for another hero, I think, just because he's not another Saiyan.
Yeah.
Thank goodness. So I'm happy with him.
Was there just a possibility that they went more recent, like super type things?
There was always that, or they could be like, they go with Gohan.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of boring in comparison to just another Saiyan.
But Cell probably makes more sense just because it's classic.
Oh,
it's
yeah,
the
no.
one that, you know.
Cell's one of the, I mean, Cell for another villain makes sense. It was a question of like, okay, will they go with that? Will they go with Super potentially? Or will they go with Majin Buu?
Boo over Cell seems weird to me, even though I don't know. It's just like...
I feel like I think I've read stuff that like Cell's not as popular like in Japan. Yeah. But Cell's, though, I can, at least in America, I think Cell's interest has gained because of Team Fortress Dragon Ball Bridge. I'm just saying.
They'll never acknowledge that, but
yeah.
The Bridge has done very good things for Dragon Ball, for the brand of Dragon Ball in America.
I'm just gonna say it. DBZA Cell is probably one of the best villains of Dragon Ball.
I can probably say that just from the bits I've seen.
Yeah.
I honestly think I've seen more Bridge than actual Dragon Ball.
Yeah. So, as far as characters, these are fine. Cell moveset may not be as interesting because he just kind of takes moves from people that are already in the game. It's because he's made up of cells from the other four Dragon Ball characters.
He's Kirby.
Yeah, he's Kirby. So, but Piccolo's interesting. They can do some stretchy stuff with him and all that kind of stuff.
Stretchy arms. Do you think 5 is the limit?
I believe so. Because now they match One Piece. So, unless One Piece gets more characters, I don't.
Yeah, there's probably only a handful that will get that many.
But as part of me wants this to be the limit, like just because I want other series getting, because we still, I think
I will speak for the people and say that My Hero should get 5.
I don't want to go that far necessarily, but I don't think it's there yet. I say maybe for My Hero. Could be wrong, but yeah, because I think we still need characters from My Hero, JoJo, Gintama, and a couple more that I feel need to be in. Yeah. Not necessarily my bias. Sorry, level lately. Now, Darby, something a little more controversial. Not from my opinion of it, though. Depending, I guess I looked at it maybe. We got 2 more character announcements.
Lay 'em on me.
Kenshin Himura and Shosio Makoto from the Rurouni Kenshin series.
What?
You probably recognize Kenshin. Do you remember? I know I watched the show all the time. Redheaded samurai.
Maybe if I saw it.
Yeah, let's pull it up. Okay, the reason why this helps reversal, Darby, and why people were really, really hoping this series would not get in because.
I think go ahead, but
because the writer is been caught with child porn,
right?
Lots of it, and not necessarily just from selling. It's like he went into detail of how he likes it.
Cool.
Yeah, right. So naturally, people were like, we would prefer if this person was not in the game.
Like in prison.
No, I think he's out and writing more Kenshin stuff.
Great. Yeah, I do recognize that guy.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing is actually good, but it's kind of like...
I love Rurouni Kenshin, but
it's kind of like, yeah, that's a real...
and naturally, people are now saying they're going to boycott the game. Because they don't want money to go to,
Yeah, I mean, I respect people's,
Yeah.
do whatever is more comfortable to you. I respect that.
Even the point I'm kind of like...
It sucks, yeah.
But it's also part of my same thing with... And I'm probably a hypocrite with this in some way because everyone is with this stuff. Yeah. But same way as Dragon Quest, that's one guy who's getting like out of the
all the people working on the game and all the other people that you're also not supporting by doing that had no.
But
I mean, this is like one of the most interesting conversations. Just I think in criticism and just entertainment in general is can you enjoy good art from a bad person? Yeah. And it's like one of those things that you can't have hard and fast rules. It's almost impossible to because they're just like I can't explain why there's certain times like I mean we're getting into a very deep discussion here.
No, I think this is good.
But
it's the weirdness coming out of Jump Force of all things.
It is. But I've always talked about this just like for some reason I can't think of a better example right now. But like I remember like growing up, I've seen like movies that had jokes with like Mike Tyson, and I would see them and be like, I would laugh about Mike Tyson's funny voice and stuff like that. Dude raped someone. He's an awful human being. Meanwhile, the band that I probably even brought this up on the podcast before, the band that me and Jeff used to listen to called Lost Prophets, the singer came out and he had like molested children and stuff, and I have literally not listened to a song from them since then.
I mean, kind of similar thing. I mean, it's not necessarily. People don't see this as a bad of a thing, but it's really bad. The vocalist from my former favorite band, As I Lay Dying, Tim Lebesis, he tried to hire a hitman to kill his wife. I don't listen to him anymore. I'm not, they're back together with all the original band members. I'm not supporting that.
Yeah.
Partly because of that. If he succeeded, we would have been having this conversation. Not like he had a change of heart before and then stopped the whole thing.
Right. He tried to kill someone.
Yeah.
Like, if it had gone the way he wanted, it would have. But it's just one of these, like, you can make anyone seem like a hypocrite and seem like an asshole.
Yeah.
Because you can find somewhere where you support it, or you, like, can't. And at some point, I think you do have to be able to, like, within your own, like, if you don't feel comfortable about it, go with that. Like, don't force yourself to, like, look past someone's wrongdoing or whatever. But in the same token, I think at some point you shouldn't feel bad for enjoying the art that you enjoy.
Yeah.
I mean, like, maybe, when you come to financial supporting someone, like, do what's comfortable to you is what I would ultimately get to when it comes to that stuff.
Yeah.
And even with As I Lay Dying, I think you can enjoy their music and still listen to their music right now and not financially support them in shows and stuff like that. But it's a tough conversation. There's no easy answer.
This is a weird one because it is two characters out of a much, and so if the guy even gets anything, it's plentiful. If they came out and we found out, hey, these guys aren't getting any off it, I think most people would feel a lot better about it.
Yeah.
Maybe just not pick the characters.
Yeah.
But weird thing.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, because also almost any project or anything you've ever played or watched or anything has probably been worked on by some monsters of human beings, and it's also been worked on by some great people.
Yeah, it's kind of the thing with Dragon Quest. The composer is not a good person, but support that game.
And we talked about with Red Dead with the crunch thing or whatever. Like, you can not like the business practices of Rockstar or whatever, but if you don't buy the game, you're also not supporting all the people who worked on the game who want you to support it. So there's, it's tough.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Let me put it this way: I'm not going to read and support the new Rurouni Kenshin thing. It's just because reason, probably, to be honest, end up getting it's just one character. The whole big fighting game that. Yeah.
And
though, I mean, I think the American branch of at least something related to Shonen Jump has actually stopped Rurouni Kenshin stuff before. On one of the things, so I wonder if it's one of those things. Will they take him out for the American release? I mean, I think the part of it is then you'll have a bunch of people going like censorship and all that kind of stuff, but also the fact of most people that would get this game don't even know this thing exists.
That's the other part of it.
Yeah, I'm just really ingrained in stuff, so I heard about it.
But yeah.
So
interesting talk. I mean, that's always been a subject that I'm just fascinated with, but it's hard to say.
Okay, Darby, let's move on to our main topic.
Jeff. Their Game Awards.
Their Game Awards
are on their way soon.
Yes.
You can when they come out. What day is the Game Awards?
December 6th.
December 6th. Tune in to our YouTube channel to see at least me and Jeff, react to the Game Awards.
So nothing keeps us away from it.
Yes. And it's going to be a good time.
It's going to be a good time.
But before then, we have the nominees. They are out. Keely has dropped them on us.
Yep. Keely has blessed us.
With these sweet, sweet nominees.
Yep. So we are going to talk about them and I guess maybe little predictions who we think and say who we want to win all that kind of stuff.
Just some kind of casual discussion.
Yeah, have fun. Maybe say who we think's gonna win just to see how right we are at the end, just for the funnies.
Yes.
No stakes. Just
obviously,
fun.
Some of these was it friendly wager friendly wager. So obviously some of these categories we don't know as much about, so we're just gonna kind of read them and keep going. But
okay, so we're gonna start from the bottom and go up just for the
speaking of that,
content creator of the year, we have for the nominees Ninja, Pokemon, Dr. Lupo, Myth, and Really Rex. I'm gonna be honest, all I heard is Ninja, and I think this one is all fan votes, so I don't see any reason Ninja's not gonna win.
Yeah, Ninja's gonna win. So, I would be shocked if not.
That's what it's down.
Well, this is just one of those things like.
Greg Miller beat PewDiePie.
Too big for if it's one of those things. It's just Game Awards has a more focused audience. This is too big, but he's too big for it. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay, now we got a bunch of esports stuff. I'm gonna have them up on. Jerry, we're not even gonna try to pick them. We're just gonna go through them together.
Jeff just says check esports categories.
I do. We can kind of. I mean, I have something to say about some of this, but yeah, overall.
All right, go
Best esports player, Dominique Sonic Fox McLean. He's cool. Hajime Tokido Taniguchi. Jian Uzi Zihao. And Okalensender Simple Kutsi Levi. I don't know. And then Sung Hyun J. Jo Nagbang from the New York Excelsior.
Nice.
Yeah, it's like, you'll know that one.
Yeah. I did hear there was like one person that was like the first ever non-Korean to win something. They won like a bunch of things. There was someone that like people were saying it's like absolutely ridiculous that they were not nominated. I don't know enough to know, but
all I know is at least obviously there's J. Jo Nak.
Yeah.
Sonic Fox. Do you know who that is, Darby?
Yes.
I
mean, I don't know a lot about him, but I remember from whatever event happened, like
Evo.
Evo. Yeah.
Which we'll get to later.
Yeah.
As far as this goes, kind of want Sonic Fox to win. He seems cool from everything I've seen, just watching him play and just in interviews and stuff. Seems like a fun guy.
Yeah. I don't know enough about him. He's probably the one I know the most. Like I don't even know him very well.
Plus, also, I feel like people get butthurt about a black gay furry winning.
Yeah, and I'm there's sweet tears.
Yep, nice and cool. Best esports team, Astralis for Counter Strike Go. Is that right? Yeah, right. CS:GO.
Yeah.
Cloud9 from League of Legends, Fnatic from League of Legends, London Spitfire from the Overwatch League, and OG from Dota 2. I have no way to. Obviously, we care more, but we want London Spitfire when I guess, but...
Yeah, I like Cloud9 too. They also do Overwatch and stuff. But... Yeah. It's not our lane.
Yep. Best esports coaches, Buck Reaperd Hangyo from Cloud9, Christian Pasarov, Banas and Shanu? I don't know. From OG, I'm sorry.
Dumb Americans.
Yeah, Danny Zorik Sorensen, Dylan Falco. That's a good name.
Falco.
Jacob Yamato Cannon Mebdi from Team Vitality. And Jenko YNK Panovic from MIBR. Oh.
Let's get through the esports, Jeff.
Yeah. Best esports event. E-League Major Boston 2018, EVO 2018, League of Legends World Championship, Overwatch League Grand Finals, and the International 2018. That's one of those things I have no idea what would win.
No, and I would just say the Overwatch League Grand Finals just because the one thing I watch is one thing I care about, but the actual match was horrible. Like it was just it was just London Spitfire stomping them in the face. So
that's why EVO may have a chance because it's all of EVO.
Yeah, if the Overwatch League Grand Finals was a better match, then maybe.
Yep. Best esports host: Alex Golden Boy Mendez, Alex Machine Richardson, Anders Bloom. If Jay, so I'm not even gonna try Darby. It's the bottom one.
Oh no. Deported.
Yeah.
Paul
Red Eye Challenger.
I only know Golden Boy from Overwatch, so go for him.
And the final one, best esports moment: C9 comeback win in triple overtime versus FaZe from E-League.
Sounds exciting.
G2 beating RNG from League of Legends Worlds. KT versus IG base race from League of Legends Worlds. OG's massive upset of LGD in Dota 2 finals. And Sonic Fox side switch against Go 1 and Dragon Ball Fighters. That was hype. So I'm okay with that winning.
Okay.
It's crazy, Darby. It's crazy.
Craziness. You don't even know.
Crazy. Okay.
All right. Let's get into the things that I can actually
we're about
I can contribute.
We're about to do esports again, Darby. Best esports game. CS:GO, Dota 2, Fortnite, League of Legends, Overwatch. I know what we want to win.
I was looking at the list from the top. I was like, why the hell was Donut County and Florence in best esports game? I was like, oh, wait. Yeah, I don't know. Overwatch. All right, next question.
What do you think's going to win, Darby?
Fortnite, but Overwatch. Yeah. Maybe in this audience, Overwatch, but...
I don't know. I'll just put that on.
Yeah.
Best debut indie game. Donut County, Florence, Moss, The Messenger, Yoku's Island Express. All good games.
All good games. The only one I've played is Florence, but I know
Moss.
I know all these games are good. Obviously, my vote would be Florence because it's the only one I've played.
I go for Moss, but what do you think's going to win,
Probably The Messenger.
That's what I was thinking, Darby.
Yep.
Everyone just seems to...
That's the
love
biggest name on there. That's the biggest name for all of them.
Yep. Okay. Best multiplayer game. Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Destiny 2 Forsaken, Fortnite, Monster Hunter World, Sea of Thieves.
It's weird. Do you think that the Game Awards crowd is going to be a crowd that doesn't vote for Fortnite? Because I do think that's a possibility. Fortnite is way bigger than any of these, obviously. But I do think there's a chance that the Game Awards specific crowd is one that just...
No, yeah, I feel like that's going to be just a conversation throughout these things of... Fortnite, it's like, yes, a lot of people obviously know this thing, but will they vote for that? Because, it's Fortnite, it's big, blah, blah, blah.
I do still, I mean, my prediction is Fortnite, but I do think there's a chance that it goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
Especially with fan vote, but obviously.
Fan votes counts very
well.
that
doesn't really matter.
And with this crowd,
it doesn't matter.
This is
as
a
much,
crowd that would be like, Fortnite.
Exactly. Like, I do think the fan vote probably won't go for Fortnite, but yeah.
Yeah, it's...
So my prediction would still be Fortnite.
Okay, let me try to think for me real quick.
So my answer would be Monster Hunter World.
Yeah.
I had a lot of fun in Monster Hunter World.
You know what? Split up. I'm gonna go Monster Hunter for potentially winning.
Hell yeah! I hope you're right.
I mean, it's up for a game of the year. So spoilers. But yeah, I feel like with this crowd, they're the people that didn't play that much Fortnite, especially since it's all, it's one vote per outlet.
Yeah.
So they're going to have to get all, the majority or the most people on board for Fortnite. And odds are a lot of those people didn't really put the time into Fortnite.
Right.
Unless you have a bunch of people saying, Fortnite's the biggest thing of the year.
That's one, Fortnite is a big deal to you if you were able to actually stick with it for a very long time. So.
Best sports/racing game. FIFA 19, Forza Horizon 4, Mario Tennis Aces, NBA 2K19, and Pro Evolution Soccer 2019.
Mario Tennis Aces, get all this junk out of here.
That's who we want to win.
I mean, that would be my choice, but that's my ignorant choice because I don't know any of the rest of them. But I think Forza Horizon is probably going to be the winner just because I see a lot of love for that game. That would be my guess. Okay. Like, from a games media, base, I think it'll be Forza.
Can maybe make the argument for Mario Tennis Aces? Because we'll play that.
I kind of hope not, because Forza Horizon is undeniably probably a better game. So I kind of, as much as I love Mario Tennis.
I agree with you. I'm going to go with that as well, just because it also stands out because it's the only racing game on here. Yeah. And like you said, it's just from
everything I've heard, it's like
just a good game.
It's the best Forza. It's like an amazing improvement over the other Horizon games. It's
Best strategy game. Battletech, Frostpunk, Into the Breach, The Bandit Saga 3, and Valkyria Chronicles 4. I'm going... I can't really say anything as far as who I'd want to win.
Yeah.
My heart says Valkyria Chronicles 4, but I only played a couple of that secondly. I think Into the Breach.
Yeah. I think Into the Breach.
I feel...
Frostpunk was a game I was very interested looking at. It's a very, I don't know if you've seen much of it, it's just a very dark and dreary game, but it looks very interesting.
I feel like I've seen more people play Into the Breach, and the people that have played it love it.
I think it's either that or Valkyria, but I think it's Into the Breach probably.
I feel like none of that people play Valkyria Chronicles.
Yeah.
I feel like Valkyria Chronicles hurts more than anything when it came out.
Yeah.
Best family game. Oh, aka the Nintendo category. Just joking. There are not Nintendo games on here. Mario Tennis Aces, Nintendo Labo, Overcooked 2, Starling Battle for Alice, and Super Mario Party. This, I have no idea.
I don't know. This could go in so many different areas.
There are ways there are arguments potentially for all these games. Maybe Starlink?
I could even see just in the family category. I mean, a game that literally uses toys and stuff. Yeah. It's kind of arguably the best thing for a family game.
Yeah.
I would almost argue that's fits the category even more than the rest of them. But I feel like Mario Party will, if you made me choose what I think is going to win, that's probably where I would go. But I would not be surprised if other thing. And also Labo was just very innovative and very,
Part of me doesn't know if, would the games journalist crowd vote for this?
They might vote for Labo just because, like I said, it was
Yeah.
innovative. It was a very interesting new concept,
Mhm.
and I think games media were generally pretty positive on it.
I don't think they're going to pick for Overcooked 2 because it's too hardcore for families.
I know. I love Overcooked. I need to play Overcooked.
So you're going with Super Mario Party?
Yes, but Labo is definitely my second. I'm going. I
Okay.
think it's going to be one of those two.
Let's see. Yeah, I'm gonna go on Mario Party. This is less interesting since we're kind of.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Okay, best fighting game. Blaze Blue.
Okay, all these actually have a chance because Smash Bros is not on here.
Yeah. Blaze Blue Cross Tag Battle, Dragon Ball Fighters, Soul Calibur 6, and Street Fighter 5 Arcade.
What?
Yeah, that's when I was like, we need to throw another game on here.
Okay, I mean, it's Dragon Ball Fighter's next question.
Yeah. I was thinking of that, but then I saw Street Fighter. I was like, will people just vote for Street Fighter?
No, it's
Yeah.
Dragon Ball Fighters.
It's Dragon Ball Fighters.
I will eat this microphone if it's something else.
Okay. I'll hold you to it.
Okay.
My vote's for Dragon Ball.
It's gonna be Dragon Ball.
Yeah, it's because interesting and pretty and all that kind of stuff and hype.
Blaze Blue is very pretty too, though. I mean, I don't care at all about the
Taylor's watching Ryan Keane from Yellow Card now. I forgot she was going to see that.
Yeah.
She's at Mayday Parade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go.
So I guess she's seeing this wildlife as well.
If I could find you now.
Best role-playing game. Dragon Quest XI, Echoes of an Elusive Age, Monster Hunter World, Neo Kuni 2, Revenant Kingdom, Octopath Traveler.
Oh, that was this year. Neo Kuni
Yeah.
2 was
Pillars of Eternity 2, Deadfire. Okay, there. This brings this. Okay,
Octopath Traveler versus Dragon Quest. Let's fight each other.
it's gonna be Monster Hunter.
I know, but I'm just saying, me and you, let's fight each other.
Yeah.
Physically, like right now, let's
Okay.
fight each other.
So we're both down for Monster Hunter winning. Okay, Dari, this brings up the first time where we're like, was something snubbed? Well, do you think anything from the previous things were snubbed, or do you? No, I'm gonna go.
I
with
wasn't
something.
really thinking about them in that light, so I don't know, but I don't think so.
Okay. If we've thought, no, I don't think so. The only one I think of we potentially come up with is best debut indie game, but I don't think we've played any of those for that. Celeste is not a debut indie game, so. Right. Yeah. So, I want Dragon Quest to win, but it's not gonna happen.
I want Octopath Traveler to win.
Now,
That's
for
really
a
just
snub.
because I haven't played the Dragon Quest.
Now for a snub, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. What is up with this?
All
Xenoblade.
right, hold on, let me look at this again. Yeah, getting the off of there.
Xenoblade is a victim of coming out in December. It's not even up for
Every
best.
year it is.
It's not even up for best music when we get to that, and its soundtrack is hot fire.
Jeff Keighley forgot that game came out, Jeff. He just forgot.
Well, not Keely's. Everyone else. Who
No, he just
Okay.
forgot.
He forgot.
Where were we,
With
Jeffrey?
the RPG thing, so yeah, there's no way it's gonna be anything other than Monster Hunter World, right? Like,
I think so.
just because of how much it's sold.
Yeah. And
More likely, there were a bunch of people that only played that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Maybe I should have saved this hot take for the game of the year. But, and I feel bad about this hot take because I really, really like Monster Hunter World. But I feel like it gets a little bit too much praise. Am I crazy for that? Like, I think it has a lot of problems. Like, I think it's a fun game. It is a very, very undeniably
you think
fun
it's
game.
being praised too much? You know, if it's like 90-something Metacritic score.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's a little much.
I feel you.
And even Game Award nominations, I feel like is a little much. Just a super, super awesome, really, really, really fun game. It's just like it has some horrible, horrible design problems, and even some of its combat is pretty clunky. It's a lot of fun, but I would not call it like a really well-made game. It's just a very fun game.
So what you're saying is some of the criticism that people give to Red Dead also apply to this, and I've seen a lot of people that like this and not Red Dead.
I would say that, Jeff. I wouldn't say that.
I don't take your hot take.
All right, we got a hot take.
Okay. But in a just world, Dragon Quest would win. Maybe Pillars of Eternity too. I know nothing about it. I know people like
Pillars
it.
of Eternity is very, very good for
Yeah.
everything I've seen.
Okay. Best action adventure game.
Weird category. It's just like
Yeah.
so many different things.
When we get to best action game, there's a game I'd make the argument should be an action adventure based on their criteria, but whatever.
Fast
Okay.
and loose.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Now we're getting to the point where we're going to be pretty much saying, is it God of War or Red Dead for a lot of these?
Yes. it's one of these. It's one of these. Do you think there will be certain outlets that be like they'll pick one of them for game of the year and another one, what the other one for for best action adventure game? Like I don't really know.
I don't either. Or because people are kind of split on that, they might pick something else.
Yeah, action adventure is very weird because it's like this is basically just a sub game of the year thing because a lot of these them are the same games and they're just like it's weird. Like what happened last year with did Zelda also win? Action adventure? Was it under action adventure?
I pulled up.
That would be under just action, but it's not really a RPG. I don't know. So I'm kind of at a loss as to what would be.
What do you want to win, Darby? Though, can you start with that? I guess I'm kind of asking you to show your hand against Red Dead v God of War.
I know, and that's why I kind of don't want to show my hand right now, but I guess I'm going to.
You don't have to.
That's
you don't have to.
Fun, Jeff.
You don't have to.
It's no fun.
We don't have to necessarily do the whole want to.
We'll save some of that.
Yeah, we'll save some.
Save some of that.
Yeah. Okay, so
I could see. I could see like prediction of what's gonna win. I think God of War, just because I think God of War is going to come away from the Game Awards with a lot of awards.
I can't.
I kind of think that it's going to win in most of the categories that it's nominated in. So that's kind of where I think.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you, especially with just kind of under action adventure game. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Moving on, best action game. All right, let me do this real quick. So let's see, best. Blah, 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 blah. Best action adventure game, it was Zelda, Assassin's Creed, Horizon, Mario, and Uncharted.
And Zelda 1.
Of course.
So that's kind of, I'd say that.
Showing your hand for Game of the Award.
Yeah, I guess. Game of the Award.
Yeah. Best action game, Call of Duty's Black Ops 4, Dead Cells. Oh, that didn't cross my mind. Good for it. Destiny 2, Forsaken, Far Cry 5, and Mega Man 11.
See, like, what are we doing, Jeff? What are we doing here? In the same category, we have Call of Duty and Far Cry 5, and then Destiny 2, and then we have Dead Cells and Mega Man. Like, what is this category?
This is I'm being like serious when I'm asking this. Is it because it's first person? Like, why isn't Far Cry 5 an action adventure? It's open world.
Yeah. It's so super strange. But, like, why would that be? Then why is Mega Man? Like, what? Like, these are so weird. Like, this is supposed to be the reason for these, like, best action adventure, or whatever, is to nail down to genre. Those are not the same genre. Far Cry 5 and Mega Man are not the same genre.
Like,
it's
very dumb. Broad, but I can at least get the reasoning between, like, maybe Call of Duty and Mega Man both being here. Just because they're kind of, like, because you don't go on adventures in these things, and there's a bunch of action going on. That's just
I guess.
My main thing is, like, why is Far Cry there and not an action adventure? Because it is an open world. You are going on adventure. Like, I get why you'd add the adventure thing to all the ones in the adventure category.
Yeah, I agree.
Far Cry 5 is the one that stands out here. I think action is just pretty much where they throw in all the 2D platforms, or most
pretty much.
But Celeste isn't there, so I don't know.
More action, but. The action versus action adventure thing is the most, like, loosey-goosey, just, like, poorly defined
As far as who do you think's going to win, Darby?
Dead Cells.
I'm stuck between that and Call of Duty. I just feel like...
I keep forgetting about how much people love Blackout.
Yeah.
People do love Mega Man, too.
I feel like that's the case that not many people played Mega Man, and some people are a little mixed.
I'll stick with Dead Cells.
Okay, stick with...
You can take the Call of Duty.
Yeah, I'll take the Call of Duty.
I think you might be right, but I'll stick with it.
Yeah, I'll mix it up some. Okay, let's see. Okay. Best VR AR game.
And what an awesome... I'm so glad that this category is this good.
Astrobot Rescue Mission. Let's go. Darry, you going to finish that tonight?
I
brought my VR.
Did you bring it? Okay, sweet, yeah. No.
Beat Saber, which we'll have next week.
Whoo-wee.
Firewall 0 Hour. I need to look for a Black Friday sale for that one. Moss and Tetris Effect.
What a category, man.
What a category. I want Astrobot to win.
Yes.
Put it that way.
But all of these games are great
Like,
in their own
part
right.
of me was like, I always thought, that's what it has to win. But then I'm looking at this list and I'm like, will it win?
I mean, it also, some of it depends on how much people love Beat Saber.
But I feel like a
And
bunch of people didn't play Beat Saber necessarily.
Yeah.
Because it's not even on PSVR yet.
But
I know it's a Vive and everything, but I feel like...
people have already voted, yeah. I mean, if you're asking what I think Astrobot will win. Just because Astrobot, out of all of these, I still think has gotten the most buzz, and the most buzz, like, specifically about, like, this game is legitimately really, really good. It was a surprise, and, like, I feel like more people, even people that I never see talk about VR games, were out there talking about Astrobot. It just felt like something you needed to play. It was a must-play event. Moss got similar talk, but I don't feel like it permeated as much. Like, I feel like the people who played Moss loved Moss, but I did not see like it spreading out to everyone.
My main thing is Tetris Effect. People seem to love Tetris Effect, but I don't know how many people actually played it in VR.
Yeah,
and then people might vote for it just because it's like, ooh, Tetris Effect.
But Tetris Effect might have just the unfortunate thing of just coming out later than Astrobot and stuff like that. But I could see it going either way. I do think Astrobot will be the thing, because I think people will also get to the thing of, like, as much as I love Tetris Effect, it's still just Tetris, whereas Astrobot is doing more things with VR.
Like, this game does not work if it's not in VR.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's going to factor into people's.
And it actually takes VR to the next level.
Yes.
So, okay. Best mobile game. Donut County, Florence, Fortnite, PUBG Mobile, Reigns Game of Thrones. Part of me feels like Fortnite and PUBG Mobile are cheating.
Florence.
I know that's what you want. I need to play that.
It's like 30 minutes.
I know.
It's so good.
I need to.
Yeah, it's.
I will get to it. I promise.
And I've heard.
Keep bugging me about it.
Yes, I will.
But my Game Award.
I've heard really good things about Donut County too.
Oh yeah.
There's
no way Fortnite's not going to win.
There's no way Fortnite's not going to win.
Because
it's boring. It's boring, but there's no way.
Like, the only other one, strangely enough, I feel like even have a chance of beating is Florence.
Yeah, just because the actual quality and the, this is a games media and artsy thing. But even Florence, I didn't see that many people talking about. And it feels like it was forever ago.
But it's going to be Fortnite, because even if you hear people like, man, like, Fortnite's so good on mobile. It's good on mobile. Like,
yeah.
Like,
I mean, and it is truly, like, I don't want to be too, like, down on Fortnite and everything. Obviously, it's just a more boring thing because it's the biggest thing in the world. But it is legitimately impressive that Epic was able to take this Battle Royale game with a map that big and everything and get it to work on mobile. Like, not as good, but as close as I've ever seen for a game like that. Like, working
as good as you really can.
And that's what, like, so many people play it on mobile and everything, and it just works. And, like, that is very, very, very impressive.
And it's Fortnite, you play in the same as everyone else, and PUBG Mobile is its own separate thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Best independent game. And Darby, this is a very strong list.
It is.
Celeste. Whoop, whoop. Dead Cells, Into the Breach, Return of the Oberdin, and
Which
The
I've
Messenger.
heard great things about.
I've heard great
things.
things.
That's the Papers, Please dude. Right, that made that. It's the guy who made Papers, Please made that.
I'm gonna consider this thing.
I've heard very, 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 very good things. And The Messenger. Solid list. You know me and Jeff are Celeste. Celeste.
We are Celeste all the way.
Celeste supporters here, but all these games are
like, it's
very good.
I feel like it's one of those things, since Celeste is up for Game of the Year, it's like, it has to win this, right?
I feel like it will.
Yeah.
I feel like it definitely will.
But you can...
Did Cuphead win this last year? I'm sorry, I keep asking these things. It's not that important.
No, just give me a second. Okay, let's see.
I'm just trying to think. But I think Celeste will win it too. I mean, I think Celeste got a lot of love from gaming outlets. Obviously enough to be like the one smaller indie game to be nominated for Game of the Year.
Yeah, Cuphead won
it. Okay.
Cuphead won best. Man, I forgot how strong the indie one was last year too. Yeah, it was Cuphead, Hellblade, Night in the Woods, Pyre, What Remains of Edith Finch.
Ooh, wow, that was a good list.
It went a different direction this time. This game's for the all across the board more gameplay focused.
Yeah,
they're more story stuff.
The Metroidvanias,
yeah,
type of things.
So,
yeah.
Cool. Okay, games for impact. 11-11 Memories Retold, which apparently is good, Darby.
And I played tennis with Jacob the other day. He loves this game, and I really need to we need to get him on here to talk about.
That's a game me and you that's a game I know me and you both want to get to at some
we
point.
need to, yeah.
Celeste, Florence, Life is Strange 2 Episode 1, we can read about that in a second. And The Missing, J.J. Macfield and the Island of Memories. So another good list, but why is Life is Strange 2 Episode 1?
So sorry. The Missing is the one, like, sorry, I wasn't paying attention. The Missing is the one that Jacob loves, not Memories Retold. Okay. I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I
might try to get the
I got too excited. I meant to say The Missing is the one that Jacob loves.
11 also makes sense that he would love it too. That's the value.
He might. Yeah. I just haven't talked to him, but sorry. Yeah. The Missing.
That makes more sense because it's swearing.
Yes, from swearing. Yeah.
I heard it's pretty short, so I might try to get on my Switch and try to fit that in. This is like a good, just kind of why I'm messing around listening to podcast type game.
We need to get Jacob on here to talk about it.
I might try to play it, so when he's on here, me and him both talk about it.
I mean, Celeste and Florence and Life is Strange are the ones
I've heard good things about The Missing, and just because it's from the Valiant Heart guys, I get why 1111 is nominated.
Oh yeah, like, I'm sure it's great.
Again, this is another strong list.
Obviously, for me, Celeste, the way that it handles like depression and anxiety and just like that, it was special. I mean, it's kind of boring, but like Celeste is just the one for me.
I think Celeste is gonna win because again, it's
I could easily see it. I mean, but any of these would be.
Any of them are worthy, but as far as we think,
and Celeste is the one I think the most people have played too.
Exactly, that's my main thing. Yeah. All these are worthy, but let's get to the weird thing with Life is Strange 2. Why are they playing this up when it's just one episode? Like this means nothing.
Yeah, it's because especially with this is basically like nominating the first quarter of a game. I mean, like, because it was
not even a quarter; it's a fifth of a game.
And it's, I mean, like we both played it. It's absolutely not like a thing that stands on its own, nor is it supposed to be. It's episode 1 of a 5-part thing. It could all fall apart. Like we don't know. It seems. I agree with you. I feel like it would have been better just to wait until Life is Strange 2.
I mean, it's probably going to be nominated the whole thing next year. If it's out.
Probably.
Yeah.
I agree. It's a little weird.
Yeah.
It's a little weird.
Okay.
And as much as I like episode 1, I mean, it was just 2.5 hours and a part of a story. It was like the intro to a story.
And isn't that interesting? We picked most of the same ones.
Yeah. It's not the most surprising to me.
Best performance.
We talk about stat category.
Christopher Judge is Kratos in God of War. Roger Clark is Arthur Morgan for Red Dead Redemption 2. Yuri Lowenthal is Peter Parker in Spider-Man. Melissa Fee Mahut as Cassandra in Assassin's Creed Odyssey. And Brian Dechart as Connor from Detroit Become Human.
What a list.
So,
my dudes.
So do you think the guy who was the male from Assassin's Creed Odyssey is kind of feel a little sad? Like just no one cares about his character.
It's just all Cassandra. Yeah, that's gonna suck. I will say this right now: if it was Dutch Vanderlyn on there, there would not be even a slightest bit of a contest in my mind.
I believe it
because I legitimately think he's probably the best voice acted character I maybe have ever seen. Like I just believe that character so much because of that voice acting.
I hear you. Like. I see it. I feel like I'm just gonna be hearing more of Dutch the more I get into the story. Not a spoiler. I like if you say yes.
That character is fascinating to me. Like I could like talk about Dutch.
I saw a couple more people say on Rosetta, or of course we're not doing spoilers thing.
I mean,
Dutch should have been the Red Dead person.
I feel like it. But that being said, my choice would still be, Roger Clark because Arthur Morgan. Like, I went into this thinking that Arthur Morgan was just going to be, like, a bland cowboy that I kind of didn't care about that much. But, like, that character, especially, and I know I hate it because you don't have this context or whatever, and don't want to give things away. But, like, his voice acting and just, like, the way his character changes in such subtle ways across the whole story, and especially when you get into, like, the later chapters, is incredible. And just, especially, like, and it's so subtle because, like, that game... We'll talk about Red Dead a lot in the future, but like it's insanely long, but it kind of needs to be because you stay with those characters for so long. And it's like when I stop and think about the way that he acted, and even just like some of the way he sounded and stuff in the beginning of the game versus now, it's crazy. It's like I really feel like I've grown up with this character and watched him evolve and everything. And this is crazy because Kratos, are you kidding me? That was amazing. His like performance was incredible, and Yuri Lowenthal is Peter Parker in Spider-Man to me. But to me, Arthur Morgan blew me away. So, like, that would be my choice. As far as who wins, I would probably go for Christopher Judge. I would probably say that's who people vote for. Just, again, I think God of War is going to run away with a lot of things, but I don't know. Sorry, I hijacked a lot
as far
of
as my
this.
personal choice, I don't know if I give it off Morgan yet, just because part of it sounds like what solidified for you is stuff I haven't gotten.
It did. Like, if at your point in the story, I probably wouldn't have said him either.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stuck for different, between as far as my personal choice and honestly the choice I think is going to win between Yuri and Christopher.
Yeah, I definitely think Yuri has a shot too.
But they're both just so like
different.
They're both just so different, and they just did it so perfectly.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's hard to tell. Like,
what's that prediction, Jeff?
What's that prediction?
So you can feel like a smart man. You can make it interesting. Go for Yuri.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That's right. You have. Yeah. Christopher Judge.
But go with your heart. You don't have to make it interesting.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Yuri Lowenthal. Reason for that partly is because I feel like, and this might be because it was closer. Like it's
you've played it more recently.
Yeah, played it more recent. No. I mean, this is just from hearing people talk. I feel like I heard more people say something about Yuri's voice in particular compared to Christopher Judge.
Yeah,
I might be wrong about that. And kind of that it is closer. I feel like Yuri's going to be more.
I think that's a little bit because God of War is a better game. It had more good things going on. But yeah, I agree with you. Yuri was a standout performance. It was great.
So yeah, this could be Connor. Watch.
Yeah, which I know a lot of people really like his performance too. So.
Best audio design. Remember, this is different from best score/music.
Yes.
Best audio design: Call of Duty Black Ops 4, Forza Horizon 4, God of War, Marvel Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2. What do you think, Darby?
My personal is either God of War or Spider-Man. Like, just God of War, when you hit things and just the Leviathan axe just sounded like what it was. It sounded like this otherworldly weapon. It was just like there were so many amazing moments in there. But also Spider-Man. I mean, you think of like swinging through the city, the wind like going or whatever as you're picking up speed, and even the orchestra swells. I know that's kind of different, but like it's one of those to me, and it's kind of hard. It's a crapshoot. It could be either one. Red Dead was great too, but I feel like in this category, it's those two for me.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Spider-Man wins. I think Spider-Man wins. Okay. That's my prediction. I don't know. I don't know what I would pick though. It's hard.
I don't know about my choice, but I have a feeling about God of War. I like how we really haven't picked Red Dead for any of this stuff yet.
I think my pick would be God of War, but it's very close. Yeah. It's very, very, very close.
Best score/music. Celeste. I guess I'll read the names for the people, for the composers.
Yeah.
Lena Raine for Celeste. Bear McCreary for God of War. John Pisano for Marvel Spider-Man. Joe Hisashi for Ni no Kuni 2. Yasunori Nishiki for Octopath Traveler, and Woody Jackson for Red Dead Redemption 2.
Are you kidding me? Get this out of here. It's Octopath Traveler. Octopath Traveler is one of the best scores I've ever heard in a video game, period. Yeah. For me, personally, it's Octopath Traveler.
I mean, obviously people like the game, but mostly all you heard about was the music.
For Octopath, I mean, no, I legitimately think the music is, I love Octopath Traveler. The music is the best part of Octopath Traveler, hands down. I mean, that's not downplaying the other parts. It's just that music was that good. Yeah. And I honestly think it might win it. I mean, I could see maybe Celeste, because Celeste also has a kick-ass sound, score. But I'm gonna double down. I'm gonna say
I'm with you.
Say Octopath.
Yeah. I'm with you.
Yeah.
And if Celeste wins more awards, so be it.
That's whatever. It's cool with me.
Yep. Alright, it feels bad we're picking most of the same games for all these, but it's just the way it goes.
It's the way it goes.
I could be wrong. Best art direction. We have Assassin's Creed Odyssey, God of War, Octopath Traveler, Red Dead Redemption 2, and Return of Obra Dinn.
It's weird because,
back to back, the two things Octopath Traveler has to be in.
Yeah, and it's the weird thing with art direction, especially in this category, because like, what exactly does it mean? Like,
Yeah,
because
Cuphead
we don't
was,
have like a
like-
best graphics category or anything. Because
Yeah.
like, again, Red Dead Redemption 2 is the best looking game I've ever played, hands down. Period.
Yeah.
End of story. But what does that mean? I mean,
The
but
art direction is generic Western stuff.
Right. Whereas Octopath Traveler's art, when you talk about like its
Yeah.
stylistic art, is insanely unique. It's beautiful. It's just like captures the eye and everything. Whereas Red Dead Redemption is not even something you can really compare it to because it's realistic. It's like they're completely different types of games. So it's like I don't really know what I should be going for with this category.
I
It's
agree.
always hard.
Again, it's harder because we don't have something like Cuphead where it's like, oh, that's just obvious.
Yes. So I would probably go Octopath Traveler because just when I think best art direction, that's more of what I think of.
I mean, I'm with you.
Is the style the style of it and everything. But again, no game I've ever played looks as good as Red Dead.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Best narrative. Detroit Become Human. God of War. Life is Strange, Episode 1. It's not even a complete narrative.
I didn't even realize that was nominated.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Spider-Man, Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm going to go ahead and say your personal pick probably Red Dead?
It is. But God of War is going to win this. Now, do you think there's any chance of that not happening? Me and you seem to be on the God of War is going to sweep the Game Awards train.
Yeah. Keep it interesting. I'm going to go with Red Dead.
Okay.
For this. I personally agree with you, but I feel like mixing up some because I feel like Red Dead. I feel like this one Red Dead could actually
get
just because though my against my argument it's longer. It hasn't been out as long and feels like a lot of people have dropped it.
Yeah.
So
what at right now, what is your pick? It's not exactly a good snapshot because you're only in chapter 3 of Red Dead, so it's not really a great snapshot of that, and it'll absolutely change. And remember, we don't do our game top 10 list until January. We're gonna wait for the entire year to come out, and then we're gonna do our personal.
Maybe February depending on what for games we want to get done with stuff.
It could be. So it's gonna be next year. We're gonna wait.
Yeah. Honestly, right now it's just God of War for personal things because I'm halfway through Red Dead story.
Right. I mean, I think it's unfair to even be able to.
Yeah. I mean, God of War beats Spider-Man, obviously.
Right.
And
that
was
a big enough deal right there.
I doubt that I'm gonna feel Spider-Man beat Red Dead in the end.
No, so it's still gonna, like so many things this year. It's gonna
Life is Strange 2 is good, but it's just an episode.
It's like a little part of a story. Yeah. It's like not.
Best game direction. A Way Out. Detroit Become Human. God of War. Spider-Man. Red Dead Redemption 2. And I've probably brought this up before, but I like how God of War and Red Dead are all up for the exact same awards.
Same categories,
They have this,
Yeah.
There's no difference between them. Like, none of them are by themselves, so.
Yeah.
I think it'll be telling by the end by seeing who has the most awards at the end, like, for Game of the Year.
It could. And it could be one of them just, like, wins across the board. This is the one I'll put my foot down and say, like, I don't understand if Red Dead doesn't win. Like, if you're talking about game direction, just everything that Rockstar did for this game, and just the sheer amount of detail, and just the kind of very unique game system, just everything they put in there. I know God of War is incredible, but when you're talking about game direction, making a game, and just the technical and just design craziness, just absurdity that Rockstar put into Red Dead 2, like, it's a feat. Even if you don't like the game, it's a feat. So I feel like it's that, and I think it's gonna win, even if it doesn't win the other things. I think it will win this one.
Okay. I agree with your reason for why it probably should win.
Yeah.
But again, is the whole thing of people seem to be a lot more, especially in the game industry. I know apparently your fellow writers on Twinfinite are a little against this, but I feel like more people are more consistently like, love God of War, and people have a lot of problems with Red Dead, and part of that is our game direction.
Yeah, some people don't like the direction that it went.
So I feel like that's enough that God of War will take it. Not that I agree, but
I could see. I could definitely see that.
Poor Spider-Man, man. It's gonna be the Horizon of this year.
I think it will be.
Or maybe Detroit is. Like, I'm surprised Detroit got as many nominations as it did, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think Detroit's on the same level as Horizon personally, but
yay for their way out.
Hey.
I mean, I gotta see that for their way out, just because of how interesting the direction was.
We're talking about
uniqueness.
Yes.
So I think it deserves that nod.
If you want to watch us play A Way Out, it's on our YouTube channel, the full playthrough.
We never talked about our thoughts on the game on a podcast.
No, we didn't. We should just make that something at some point.
Best ongoing game, Darby. Destiny 2, Fortnite, nominees, Overwatch, and Tom Clancy's Rainbow Six Siege. Is there any possible way this isn't Fortnite?
Nope.
Okay.
I mean, there's just not. This is kind of the, hey, we're not doing Game of the Year for this, but we're gonna do this. Like, this is kind of the instead of Game of the Year, it's gonna
this is the kind of thing
and I honestly think it should win.
Yeah.
Like I that's not even just it will win it. I think it should. Like what it did and how big it got and how
consistently
it has brought gaming into the mainstream in a way that we haven't seen since the Wii. All right, let's finish this thing.
Okay. Go back to the ongoing game thing. I think part of the reason, regardless of the deserving part, which I don't disagree with you at all. The fact of the matter is, the kind of people that vote for these things, we talked about before, the game journal probably vote for this, are not the people that are mostly all in on these ongoing game things.
No, but I think they'll be similar to us, and we don't play these games, but we recognize that Fortnite is.
That's what I'm getting at. Yeah. They've heard about Fortnite. Fortnite updates were big news, so that's why it's going to.
Hey, you see IGN, are they making an entire show for Fortnite? I mean, Fortnite is the biggest thing in the world. Yeah. So.
Final one, game of the year, Darby.
The GOTY.
The GOTY of the Game Awards.
Yes.
Okay.
What do we got, Jeff?
We got Assassin's Creed Odyssey, Celeste, God of War, Marvel's Spider-Man, Monster Hunter World, and Red Dead Redemption 2. So as we talked, when we were texting about these, Darby, we were right. We got the 6 games right that were going to be on this list. These are the 6 games we kept on saying.
We just didn't know there was going to be 6, right?
Yeah. So we kept it who's going to be the 5th game?
How about us? Yeah. We did it.
I mean, we knew God of War, Spider-Man, and Red Dead were all going to be on there.
Also, can we just talk about video games are pretty damn cool, man. Yeah. Look at this list.
Yeah. And we have played 5 out of the 6.
How about us?
Yeah. You don't know, Assassin's Creed is the one we are not playing, and we will not play.
Yeah. That sounded way more aggressive.
It did.
We will not play that game.
No.
And
so we don't have time for it.
Before we get into anything, this Celeste nom makes me so happy. Yes, I'm just so happy. And it's so funny to see all these AAA games, and then Celeste is sitting there, and it's great.
I've seen a picture of someone did of drawing all the main characters, and then you see a little Madeline.
Well, you saw even the graphic I made. I made our cover photo in Facebook. It is really funny. All these big people, and then
there's all the other ones are serious, and you see Madeline just sitting in the
even
middle.
Though I do have a Palico in there, so that kind of
but I want Celeste to win. It may not necessarily end up being my game of the year. I'm still not sure about that, but I just love if Celeste won.
I would definitely not. Yeah, I would absolutely love that.
But it's all the better.
It's for me, it's boring. My heart, I really want Celeste for that team, just that small team, and just how special that game was. And I would not be sad at all. I really want it and everything. But right now, it's Red Dead for me. It's Red Dead, and then for me, God of War and Celeste are kind of in the dogfight for second.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Red Dead is just very special and tailored to me. It feels like in so many ways. So Red Dead is mine. I would probably put Celeste over God of War, very narrowly, but that's just kind of my personal.
Wow, how quickly God of War dropped.
Third.
Yeah.
That game is might be my third favorite game of 2018.
Darby,
that is insanity.
Darby, you never know. I'm still,
that is insanity.
I'm still in my mind running is it God of War Celeste for me? Yeah. And then I've even finished Red Dead, so who knows? I could be similar. Maybe slightly different order, but...
And that could change. Celeste and God of War are constantly leapfrogging each other, but...
Or maybe Dragon Quest will jump God of War 2. Who knows? Probably not, but...
That's just insanity. Yeah. But I think if you've been listening to this whole time, I think God of War is taking this because Red Dead, there's just too much contention. There's people like me that absolutely love it, but there's also a lot of people that it just did not vibe for.
Yeah, and there's because it's out so late and it's such a big game. There's a thing of has everyone finished it? Like
A lot of people have, yeah.
God of War is like half the length, like less than half the length of Red Dead.
Yeah,
probably everyone voting for this that is interested, even God of War, to have finished that game.
Yeah.
Red Dead, a good bit of and yeah, like I said, a bunch of people have dropped this game, so I just don't like it, and some people were like, "This is even my thing to begin with."
Yeah, it's not for everyone. I think God of War has a lot more universal appeal than Red Dead. And there was obviously some down talk on God of War, but I feel like it was a lot more universal there. And God of War isn't a crazy feat, and it, I think I'm not going to be sad for any of these.
Yeah.
Except for
Monster Hunter and Assassin's Creed. Well,
and I mean, I'll be. Do you want another hot take, Jeff?
Give me your hot takes, Darby.
I love Spider-Man.
Okay.
I love it. Great game.
Okay.
It's not in the same stratosphere as God of War, Celeste, or Red Dead. It's not in the same conversation.
Okay. Just that. Not that I necessarily disagree with you, because I'm probably gonna have Astrobat over Spider-Man. So,
yeah, love the game. Again, I don't want to stress I love it.
What would you put in its place? Just out of curiosity.
I'm not even saying that it shouldn't belong here. Yeah. I'm just saying that to me, there's 3 games. There's a chasm, and then there's the other ones. Just because I just don't think that it compares to these 3. I'm not even saying that. Yeah, I'm not saying there's anything this year that should be over it.
I'm going to speak for you for a second, but I imagine the case it's going to be is Celeste, Red Dead, God of War are like all-time great tier,
right?
While the rest of them are great tier,
right? Like all 3 of those games could be fighting for my top 10. Spider-Man's not. I mean, I love it, but that's a crazy thing. To have 3 games this year that might be vying for my
No. Like if we did our top list and I did my tourney again, Celeste and God of War confirmed to be on that list.
And that's crazy. Yeah. This is an amazing.
And then potentially Red Dead, and then I have Dragon Quest that would probably end up in there when I finish it.
These last 2 years, man. The fact that this year might even be better than last year. Or at least comparable. It's
No, as a whole, I'm gonna go with it is. It obviously will have the highs for me personally because.
And if you think about last year, I was amazed that Horizon dropped all the way down to my number 3 game. God of War is so much better than Horizon. I love Horizon, but God of War is so much better, and that's God of War is my number 3 this year. That's kind of telling. Yeah. That's kind of telling. So yeah, I think God of War takes it. Mine is Red Dead, but I've kind of finished. I've pretty much finished all I need I've finished or either am close to the end on everything I need to do to make a decision on this. Meanwhile, you still have a lot more Red Dead to play. So that's kind of
and I got Dragon Quest.
That's kind of the difference. Right. And yeah, for me personally, there's really no other outstanding outside game that could compete with any of these. I haven't finished Octopath. It's not going to be this high up. I haven't finished several other ones. It's not going to be. You have Dragon Quest that actually could be. I mean, that's whenever we get to the final thing. So
Dragon Quest will. I'll say it straight up. It's going to be a game I wouldn't necessarily better than these games, but in my heart.
And that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, but no, I don't know if I completely said it, but I wrote it down. Yeah, I agree with you, God of War. If you have listened to everything we've said as far as all these other nominees, we get. If what we gave Red Dead to are just kind of things, it happens to be kind of better in this category.
Yeah, and I don't know how much Breath of the Wild won last year, but I think God of War is going to be one of those that just racks them up as it goes. And it's a great game.
Yes.
It's going
to be boring, but as far as their awards go.
Yeah.
We may not have to sit through all of them because what they'll probably do, God of War sweeps, they'll just say, one of the early awards give to God of War and say God of War also won blah 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 blah
and Game of the Year. Damn, no. Oh my God, can you imagine if that happened in the first 10 minutes of it? They're like, God of War also won Game of the Year.
Yeah, this would be fun.
Yeah, Jeff, I love the Game Award.
Yeah,
and we've also been doing this podcast a long time. This is also making me realize that because we were already doing the podcast for a while when we did Game Awards last year.
You've been doing it for over 18 months.
That's insane. And yeah, I think me and you both were in the impression that Game Awards just keeps getting better every single year. I thought last year was getting as really close to being just a complete solid show with not much
Yeah.
You know, like
unfortunately, they're going to do the
fluff and
commercials, but they got to pay the bills.
They have to pay the bills. I understand that, but like
People are too upset about that.
I believe Keeley when he's talking about the announcements, and I see no reason why there shouldn't be just more and more coming up.
Keeley reads with Setter. He reads the impressions. I know for sure. Like, obviously he's got to promote the show, but I feel like the amount of time you said we got the biggest announcements, it's like I have no reason not to believe him. And
especially you've seen the numbers they did last year and how it just keeps growing more and more. If I'm a big game developer or something, and you know I have something to announce, but it's too far away from E3 or whatever, like yeah, this is absolutely where I want to be. So, and if you want to hear more thoughts and predictions or whatever Jeff has cooking in his devious mind, me, Jacob Hamill, and Will Outlaw will all be competing in something involving the Game Awards. We don't really know yet because it's all in Jeff's head right now. But it's gonna
in a Google Doc.
And in a Google Doc. But it's gonna be an awesome competition where we're all betting and going against each other for different things involving the Game Awards. So stay tuned for that. We will be recording it in a few days, and I'm not exactly sure when that's going up, but it will be before the Game Awards, probably like a week before.
Yeah. We're recording. Yeah, wait. They recorded like 2 weeks before the Game Awards.
Yeah, it's one of those like Thanksgiving, and it's not hard to get all four of us together. But this should be decently evergreen stuff, I'm sure. And you know, there'll probably be.
I'm gonna make it.
There could be some things that get announced and stuff.
I'm gonna make it clear at the beginning.
When we're recording.
Yeah, we're in the. Yeah, this is the time and date we're recording, so these still count. This is gonna be locked in. So if something is announced beforehand, then some people are out of luck potentially.
Yeah.
Or people will be happy.
But we're all on the same playing field.
Yes.
So, yeah. No advantages here. So yeah, look forward to that. I'm very excited. Maybe I can finally win.
Yeah.
I haven't had a good track record.
You still have me click out. Just saying.
Man, anytime you want. But
Tuesday might be good.
But we need Will there. Yeah. All right, we'll plan it. It's down. Okay, thank you guys so much for watching. Again, Pokemon Nuzlocke. XO. I don't have too much else to plug. Goodbye.